So you want to issue some open badges and you've got some people together and you want to set about some kind of workshop or some kind of informal activity where you're going to design some badges. Well, where are you going to start? What are you going to do? Well, what I would suggest is a 5-step procedure. So, for example, number 1, decide on some behaviours or skills or attitudes that you want to promote within your organisation. What do you want people to do? That's the first thing to think about. Let's use as an example, I don't know, like an online community where you want people to show good mentorship skills. That might be an example of what you want to do. Number 2, think of the criteria within the badge which would promote those skills. So, right, okay, we've got a mentorship role within a community, we want to promote that kind of activity. So we obviously need a mentor badge, but what are they going to have to do to get that badge? Well, perhaps they comment on other people's posts on the forum, or they suggest some kind of community activity which other people can sign up to. Those are the kinds of criteria for badges which would promote that kind of mentorship role. So that's the second thing to come up with. Number 3, once you've spent some time thinking about the criteria for a badge, it's quite likely that the badge that you came up with is a huge badge. It's massive. It involves lots of activities and things that people have to do to get that badge. What you need to do next is break that down. Try and make it a bit more granular. Instead of making this huge thing, which is quite hard to achieve, what about different smaller badges that might build up to that kind of mentorship badge or whatever badge you decided to do? So break down the criteria which you've already come up with in step 2. Break it down into more granular skills and see what you come up with. So by now you've probably got lots of different badges, hopefully as granular as possible. So you need to think about how those different badges relate to each other. Do they build up together in some kind of hierarchical way? Are they kind of organised in some kind of Trivial Pursuit kind of pie or cheese kind of segmented kind of way? How are you going to organise these badges so there's a relationship between them? Remember, you can organise these badges however you want, and one interesting way, which we've been doing at Mozilla, is by making them hexagonal. Now, by making them hexagonal, they tessellate in really interesting ways, meaning that it kind of forces you not to think in a linear way about how people can progress. They can progress according to their interests, they can progress in slightly tangential ways, and potentially they don't have to get all of the different skills to still be able to level up. So have a think about how the different badges relate to each other before progressing. 5, get somebody to design you a graphic. That could be yourself. You might want to use PowerPoint or Keynote or just a simple graphics editor. Make sure it's a PNG file and make sure that it's no wider than 256 pixels. And then you're ready to publish it. You're ready to issue badges. There's lots of different issuing platforms. So you could use a WordPress plugin, you could use BadgeStack. There's lots of different places. The one that I tend to use when doing workshops is Badgos, that's badg.us. And the reason for that is you can see very easily how you upload the image and then you fill in all the criteria fields and everything like that. So give it a go, give it a pilot, give it a test, and then when you're happy with it, you can roll it out. But don't forget that you're going to need to keep iterating and keep getting feedback from the people who are getting the badges awarded to them. So there we are. There's 5 different steps which we've gone through there. And what you've got to remember is that badge design is an iterative process where you need to get as many people involved as possible, stakeholders as it were, people who can give you ideas and opinions about how things can be best captured. Remember that you're focusing on behaviours and skills and attitudes that you want to promote, and always focus the badge design on that. And also come back to the badge design and ask the people who are being issued the badges whether they're still useful and if the process could be tweaked and improved any.